A Dutch museum is taking a historic step, sending more than 100 precious artefacts back to Nigeria. The Wereldmuseum in Leiden is preparing a collection of Benin Bronzes looted during a violent British raid in 1897. Now, this marks the largest single return of these treasures to date.
The start of a homecoming journey. These Benin Bronzes are being returned from the Wereldmuseum in the Dutch city of Leiden, almost 130 years after they were stolen from the Kingdom of Benin in modern-day Nigeria.
There was an expedition in 1897 and there was a lot of violence and they robbed the whole palace, actually. The British people did. And then they sold it throughout Europe to diverse museums and we bought some. But this is looted art. It doesn't belong here, although we paid for it. So we made a restitution policy in the Netherlands.
These sculptures were crafted between the 15th and 19th centuries for the royal court in Benin City. Now, more than 100 of them are being prepared for repatriation.
It's a really painstaking process. Each object will be individually packed in a specially designed box full of protective material, and then they'll be flown to Lagos in Nigeria.
It might be these sculptures' first flight, but in a manner, the bronzes have long been frequent flyers. Pictures of them adorn the pages of all Nigerian passports.
It represents national identity, and to deem it necessary to return, those artifacts is something that we really cherish. It's important because it's like restoration of dignity.
Nigerian institutions have long campaigned to bring the Benin Bronzes home from Western museums. Germany handed over around 20 of them back in 2022, and some have also been returned from UK galleries. But a major collection of around 900 bronzes in the British Museum in London is going nowhere, with an Act of Parliament from the 1960s restricting returns. Nigerian-Dutch student Toyosi hopes the latest move will add more pressure.
Step in the right direction, but eventually we would like to see the 900. I think the collection is over 900 pieces. We would like to see it returned because it's not just art, it is a part of history, especially history that is mostly oral.
Back in Leiden, curators know this return won't be the last. Research shows there's more looted art within these bowls, and Indonesia, once under Dutch colonial rule, has also campaigned for decades to have its stolen art returned, with several hundred items sent back so far. For now, these Benin Bronzes are blazing a trail from the Netherlands, and 4 will remain on loan from Nigeria, so part of the story of stolen art can still be told here.
I'm now joined from Lagos by Dr. Oluwatoyin Shogbesan, Director of the Asha Heritage Africa Foundation, which is dedicated to preserving and promoting Nigeria's cultural heritage. Thank you for being with us. What is your reaction to this development of the return of these Benin Bronzes from the Dutch Museum?
It's one of excitement and one of hope. And it's one of hope simply because I feel, and I'm hoping, that many more will follow after this. But for now, we're happy. It's one that I am so happy that they're making their way back home.
Tell us what these items mean to the Benin people.
For me, these items mean a lot. It is a record of the culture of the people, the everyday life of the people. It is a record of materiality of the Benin people. It is one that tells you of their spirituality. It is one that tells you of their belief system. It is one also that tells you of the different kinds of animals that you could find in Benin and the different kind of cultural festivals that happens there. And above all, the place, the position of the Oba amongst his people as a custodian of their culture. So these plaques, these heads tell you the different stages and the different use of even beads in their dressing. So it tells a lot of stories.
A lot of storytelling, as you say, spiritual, cultural. I'm just thinking abroad, though, they might have been seen more aesthetically and maybe anthropologically as well. But looking at all these things you've mentioned, should that affect the way in which these items are dealt with on return, or would you say times have changed?
No, I wouldn't say times have changed. Yes, culture in itself is not static. So you pick up things as you go on and then you drop off some. But when it comes to the Benin culture, as well as the bronzes, some things are the same. The reverence that they give to these artifacts are same. And mere fact that they belong, to the Oba, they were kept by the Oba, they belong to him. It's a record of his people. They still reverence them. So times have not changed when it comes to how people will see them. Times have also not changed to how the people in Benin, if you see the Oba today and the regalia, and when you look at some of these artifacts, you will see the artifacts as a recording of all this materiality. So it is still the same.
Many of these artifacts, or I should say most, are still abroad, mostly in Britain. What should be done to bring them all home?
Just like every other person are doing, simply pack them up and send them back to the rightful owners. There's nothing much more than that. But they'll tell you that these things are guided by different kinds of laws. And also the African country, for instance, Nigeria, has to request for them. It's not as simple as, okay, we request and then we get it. It goes through different sections, different processes, and for them to even agree to return them. But when it comes to the Benin artifacts, they were looted, lives were lost, women were raped, houses were burnt. It's a whole lot that we need to sit at the table and discuss. And where do we start from? I think the easiest of it is first return, and then we can start to have that conversations around proper restitution.
Along those lines, there's one criticism, not just from abroad, but even at home in Nigeria, about the culture of preservation. Do you think Nigeria is making the appropriate steps to be able to, for example, when it gets these items back, to be able to keep them in the manner in which they can be preserved for a very long time?
Tommy, I see those reasons as very flimsy. And you'll ask me why. I see them as flimsy because the people have always kept their stuff before they were looted. I see it as flimsy because before they were stolen, there was a way in which Africa, not only Nigeria, keeps their stuff. So when we're talking about issues of preservation, I think we tend to forget that the people have their own indigenous knowledge systems that help in the preservation of this artifacts that has kept them till the time when they were looted and now. So that is not even a question, and it shouldn't come to the table because there are some ways in which the indigenous people keep their stuff that have not come to the fore and people have not respected. And I think that needs to be acknowledged first.
Point noted. Dr. Oluwatoyin Shogbesan from the Asha Heritage Africa Foundation. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.